The Book of Tobit, also known as the Book of Tobias, is part of Catholic and Orthodox biblical canon, but it is considered apocryphal in the Jewish and Protestant traditions. It is set during the Assyrian captivity of the northern kingdom of Israel, circa 8th century BCE, providing a blend of history, folklore, and moral teachings. Its historical and religious significance lies in its many themes, that of faith and righteousness in exile, divine providence and angelic guidance, marriage and family values, and finally, the role of prayer and almsgiving. Welcome to our exploration of the Book of Tobias, also known as the Book of Tobit, a cherished text from the Catholic Bible. This ancient story is filled with themes of faith, divine intervention, and the triumph of good over evil. Our story begins with Tobias, a righteous and devout Israelite living in exile in Nineveh during the Assyrian captivity. He is originally a member of the Naphtali tribe. Despite the hardships of exile, Tobias remains steadfast in his faith, regularly giving alms and performing acts of charity, such as feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, and most illegally, burying the dead, an act forbidden by the Assyrian king meant to control and oppress the Jewish faith. He does these things despite being discovered earlier by the king and despite pleas of concern from his friends. But because he is steadfast in his faith, God grants him favor with the new king, Salamansar, who gives him freedom. He travels to the city of Rages in Mendes, where he lends 10 talents of silver to a man in need in exchange for a note of repayment in the future. But Tobias's freedom does not last long, for the king dies and his son Sennacherib becomes a ruler who detests everything about the children of Israel. When Sennacherib is defeated in Judea, he flees back to Nineveh, where he slaughters many captive Israelites. Tobias buries the bodies, which enrages the king, who wants Tobias murdered and all of his possessions stripped away. Tobias flees naked with his wife and son, and stays concealed by loved ones for 45 days. Soon after, Sennacherib himself is also murdered by his own sons, allowing Tobias to return and continue burying the dead according to God's law. One day, after burying a fellow Israelite, Tobias rests against a wall, only to be blinded when hot swallow dung falls from a nest and into his eyes. This misfortune leads to financial hardship and emotional despair for both Tobias and his wife, Anna. Meanwhile, in the city of Ecbatana, a woman named Sarah is tormented by the demon Asmodeus, who has killed her 7 previous husbands on their wedding nights. Mocked and humiliated, Sarah prays fervently for deliverance, but is terrified to accept another husband for fear of him dying. Sarah prays to the Lord, who hears her pleas and sends his Arcangel Raphael to earth to heal her. But Raphael begins his mission elsewhere, meeting up with Tobias the younger, the son of the eldest Tobias. Tobias the elder wants to send his son to Media to retrieve a debt, 10 silver talents. Unbeknownst to Tobias, the angel Raphael has disguised himself as a man named Azariah and offers to join him as a guide on his journey. During the journey, Tobias is almost swallowed by a giant fish while washing his feet in the Tigris River. With the guidance of Raphael, Tobias catches the fish. Raphael then instructs him to keep the fish's heart, liver, and gall, as they possess healing and protective properties. Before arriving to their destined city, Raphael tells Tobias that he will take a wife there, but for the first 3 days of their marriage, they will only pray, and on the 3rd night, they will be with each other for the purpose of bringing forth new life, not for the sin of lust. When they enter the city, Raguel, father of Sarah, greets them, and they discover that Raguel is Tobias the elder's brother, and that Sarah is Tobias the younger's cousin. Tobias and Sarah marry. By burning the fish's liver and heart, they create a smoke that drives the demon Asmodeus away. Raphael binds the demon in the desert, freeing Sarah from her curse. Tobias then asks Raphael to go to Rages and find Gabalus, who owes Tobias the elder the 10 talents of silver. Raphael collects it and the group reunites to journey home. When Tobias returns home, he applies the fish's gall to his father's eyes, miraculously restoring his sight within 30 minutes. Tobias the elder and his son discuss how they can repay Raphael, who guided them and brought them success on their journey, and they decide to offer him half of everything they own. Raphael responds, "Prayer is good with fasting and alms more than to lay up treasures of gold. For alms delivereth from death, and the same is that which purgeth away sins, and maketh to find mercy and life everlasting. But they that commit sin and iniquity are enemies to their own soul. Tobias chapter 12, verse 8 through 10. Raphael then reveals his true identity. And now the Lord hath sent me to heal thee, and to deliver Sarah thy son's wife from the devil. For I am the angel Raphael, one of the 7 who stand before the Lord. Tobias chapter 12, verses 14 through 15. Raphael then ascends to heaven, leaving Tobias and his family in awe and gratitude. For his faith and works, Tobias the elder is healed and lives a long life to see his grandchildren's children born. And throughout his life, up until his death, Tobias advises his son to live a righteous life, to practice charity, and remain faithful to God. He prophesies the eventual destruction of Nineveh and urges Tobias to return to OBADIAH. The Book of Tobias teaches profound lessons on faith, perseverance, and divine providence. It highlights the importance of prayer, of almsgiving, and trust in God's guidance, even in times of great suffering. The Book of Tobias blends morality, folklore, and theology to teach perseverance in faith and the importance of righteousness. It remains a treasured text in Catholic tradition for its timeless lessons on trust in God, in family bonds, and in His divine justice. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the Book of Tobias. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more biblical insights. Until next time, may God bless you and keep you safe.